Hi, welcome to Boring Money, Rich Life. I'm your host, Joy Hicks, and today we're going to talk about CoreWeave. I'm actually excited about this topic today because, as I've shared with you guys, I am in technology, and the company we're going to talk about today, they are a tech company who recently did an IPO. And when I say recently, like last Friday, they just did their IPO. So it's being talked about a lot in the news right now just because it's pretty exciting. CoreWeave, they are an AI technology company, which means that they have different AI technology, and that's their primary product that they sell. And so this company is actually backed by NVIDIA. And we all know NVIDIA was the hot company on the market for a good while. So for them to be backed by NVIDIA is pretty good. I think that kind of adds like a little bit of more confidence in this company. And NVIDIA actually invested 250 million into CoreWeave. So I did think that was pretty interesting as well. But as I was kind of doing my research just to understand like who this company is, what they do, I did find that they pretty much have like data centers and these NVIDIA chips that they rent out to different tech companies. So we'll kind of get into that a little bit more as well. So on Friday, CoreWeave did become available on the stock market. And its stock actually opened up at about $39 per share, which was actually saying they raised about 1.5 billion in its share sale, which is the biggest US IPO since 2021. So that is a reason why this company is kind of being talked about so much, is because I've told you guys plenty of times that the tech market has been horrible lately. And it's kind of been falling since like the end of 2022 and especially in 2023. So to have a big IPO in this space, it is kind of a big deal. So there's a lot of people who are kind of watching to see what CoreWeave does. So for CoreWeave, one of their biggest customers is actually Microsoft. And we know Microsoft does a ton of things, but Microsoft also has cloud services for like OpenAI. So CoreWeave, they'll kind of rent out like their data centers and their NVIDIA chips to companies like Microsoft. So that way these companies can kind of build the AI that we're using today. So like OpenAI is the parent company for ChatGPT. And, everybody is starting to utilize that a lot more. But pretty much what CoreWeave is doing, they're kind of housing the data for all of that different technology. So in order for us to use ChatGPT to like help us with papers or to give us feedback on different questions that we have, it has to have somewhere to kind of store all of that data. So CoreWeave, in a sense, is renting or like powering the technology behind all of this AI. Now, it was also saying that Meta and IBM are also a customer of theirs as well. And it's kind of interesting because although Microsoft is their biggest customer, they have like 67% of their customer base. Microsoft is also a competitor as well. So it was saying Amazon, Google, and Oracle are also a competitor of CoreWeave, which is kind of interesting, of course. I think AI is one of those things where everybody is trying to see what the capabilities are, but those are kind of the customers and those are the competitors. If this is a company that you want to do more research on to kind of understand like their business model. Now, there is some skepticism around CoreWeave just because prior to them going public on Friday, they did change the target price for their stock. So when they were initially kind of filing for their IPO, they were targeting their share price to be around 47 to $55 per share. And had they gone with that target, they would have actually raised around 2.5 billion in their share sale. So when they actually went public on the market, they sold their shares for $40 a share. And then when it actually started trading, it was $39 a share. And on that first day, there was kind of a decline, I would say, in the stock price. So that was another thing why people were kind of like skeptical of this company because on Friday, their stock price actually dropped down to around $36 a share. So there was definitely some kind of worries just because, again, this is not the best time. This is not the best market, I would say. We all know that the stock market, like the Dow Jones, all those things are kind of like declining right now. And there's a lot of worry in the market with all of the tariffs and all this uncertainty happening. So it is kind of an interesting time to have an IPO. And I think that probably did kind of have an impact on why their stock price did decline, even on the first day. But I will say what is kind of interesting is that after CoreWeave did file to go public, and they filed that, I want to say on March 3rd, there are other tech companies who are also filing to go public and have an IPO as well. So those companies are Klarna, StubHub, and Hinge Health. Now, that's kind of exciting as well because Klarna, I would say, is definitely an interesting company because they're helping people make payments without having a lot of debt. So that's going to be pretty interesting. StubHub, they dabble in a lot of entertainment and ticket pricing. And then Hinge Health is obviously like medical and things like that. But it is kind of interesting that although this is not the best or ideal market, that there are still companies who are planning to also launch an IPO. So definitely something to be on the lookout. Now, I'm not telling you to invest in these companies, definitely do your own research, but I will say it is interesting that those companies did also file for an IPO after this one. I was actually going to post about CoreWeave on Monday just because, again, there was a lot of excitement around this company going public. But I'm glad that I waited because had I posted on Monday, again, their shares would have kind of been like around $36 a share. There's like a lot of kind of bad press around it just because it did go lower than what they actually released it on initially when they were trading around $39 a share. But now a lot of people are actually really excited about CoreWeave because they've had like a 42% increase in their stock price. So now they're actually trading around $54 a share, and that's in less than like 72 hours. So, of course, that does have a lot of people excited to kind of see what this stock does, where it kind of like levels out around. But I think that's kind of interesting going from like $36 to $54 per share. So, again, I'm not telling you what to invest in. I am not a financial advisor, but I would definitely say it's a company to watch just to kind of see because I will say, kind of around like September of last year, I actually went to Denver Startup Week. And it's a free week in Denver where they bring in all of these local tech companies to kind of let us know what's happening in the city, what to be aware of, what they're worried about, what they're planning for 5 years down the road, etc. And so there was one particular talk that was kind of talking about AI, of course, and how we are definitely going to need data centers because, again, there has to be something powering all of this different technology. All of this information has to be housed somewhere. So things like energy, because it takes a lot of energy to fuel a data center, of course, housing a data center. So, like the infrastructure that it takes to do that. And then, of course, companies who are kind of supplying this different technology are all going to be pretty interesting. Again, I think a lot of people are looking to see how this does just because this is kind of the first big IPO in so many years. So, I just wanted to talk about it. Like I said, I am excited. I do want to see kind of how this does, just because I do feel like everybody pretty much needs AI. We all need like a higher computing type of information and information that is more accurate, that does reasoning. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. I would say, if anything, just look it up. Definitely look up the other companies that are planning to have their IPO as well. But as always, what is one boring thing that you can do today to start fueling your rich life? Again, I'm Joy Hicks. Thank you for watching and be sure to subscribe.